Imagine waking up on a Tuesday morning, making yourself a cup of coffee, and opening your phone to see that you made money while you slept. Not a little money. Not pennies, but actual, real income. Deposited while you were dreaming. Now here's the question most people never stop to ask. Who was working while you were sleeping? Because here's the thing, money doesn't appear out of nowhere. It comes from value. And value has to be delivered to someone, somehow. The real secret of the wealthy isn't that they work harder. It's that they figured out how to deliver value, without always being the one doing the delivering. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. 8 businesses that, once you build them, largely run themselves. No office, no employees breathing down your neck, no alarm clock reminding you that someone else owns your time. But before we get into the list, we need to talk about a dangerous myth. Because if you walk into any of these wrong, you'll end up just as burned out as you were before. Maybe worse. Here's the myth. Passive income means zero work. You've seen the ads. Guy on a beach, laptop barely open, cocktail in hand. I made $10,000 last month doing almost nothing. And some part of your brain goes, that could be me. But that picture? It's a highlight reel. It's showing you the harvest and hiding the entire farming season. Every single one of these businesses requires real effort up front. Sometimes months of it, sometimes years. The difference between a passive income business and a regular job isn't that you never work. It's when you work, and whether your effort compounds over time or just evaporates after each paycheck. Think about a vending machine. You stock it once. You collect money for weeks. But someone had to buy the machine, find the location, negotiate the lease, stock the snacks, and maintain the thing. There's a setup phase. There's always a setup phase. What separates a low-maintenance business from a grind is this. The ratio of ongoing effort to ongoing income gets better and better over time. You put in a burst of effort, and then the system takes over. So with that in mind, let's talk about the 8 businesses that do exactly that. Core explanation. The 8 businesses. 1. Digital products. This one sits at the top of the list for a reason. A digital product is anything you create once and sell repeatedly without ever having to make it again. An ebook, a template, a Notion dashboard, a budget spreadsheet, a set of Lightroom presets for photographers, a resume template. You build it once. You put it on a platform like Gumroad or Etsy or your own website. And every time someone buys it, the file is delivered automatically. No shipping, no inventory, no customer service call. The psychology behind why this works is fascinating. Most people think they need to be an expert with a PhD to create something worth selling. But the truth is, you just need to be about 10 steps ahead of someone else. If you figured out how to set up a budget that actually helped you save money, there's a version of you from 3 years ago who would have paid for that system. Your knowledge gap is someone else's painful problem, and people pay to skip the painful part. 2. Print on demand. Here's one where you don't even hold a single piece of inventory. Print on demand lets you design products, t-shirts, mugs, phone cases, tote bags, and when someone buys one, a third-party company prints it, packages it, and ships it directly to the customer. You collect the profit margin. You never touch a box. Platforms like Printful or Printify connect directly to Etsy or Shopify. You do the creative work upfront, designing products, setting up your storefront, writing good product descriptions. And then the system handles the fulfillment. The beautiful part is that your store is open 24 hours a day. Someone in Tokyo can buy your mug at 3 a.m. while you're fast asleep in Atlanta, and you wake up to a notification. The work here is in the creative and marketing side, the designs, the niche research, understanding who your customer is. But the operations, nearly invisible. 3. Niche content websites, affiliate blogs. This one takes time to build, but it's one of the most durable income streams on the internet. Here's how it works. You build a simple website around a specific topic, let's say, the best gear for beginner rock climbers. You write helpful articles, reviews, comparisons, best of lists. And inside those articles, you include links to products on Amazon or other retailers. When someone clicks your link and buys something, you earn a commission. You're not selling anything. You're not holding any inventory. You're just the trusted guide pointing someone toward a purchase they were already going to make. The psychological insight here is that people don't want to be sold, they want to be helped. A recommendation from a website that clearly knows what it's talking about feels completely different from an advertisement. That's why affiliate content converts so well when it's done honestly. The effort is front-loaded in the writing and the SEO getting Google to show your articles to the right people. But once those articles rank, they can pull in traffic and commissions for years with minimal upkeep. 4. YouTube, with a catalog mindset. Most people think of YouTube as a social media hamster wheel post constantly, or the algorithm abandons you. And for entertainment channels, that's partly true. But for educational content, the game is different. A video explaining how Roth IRAs work or the basics of index fund investing doesn't expire. People will be searching for that information 5 years from now. A video you made once keeps collecting views and ad revenue long after you've moved on to the next one. The key mindset shift is this. Don't think about subscribers. Think about catalog. Every video you publish is an asset, a piece of content that works for you while you sleep, teaches while you eat, explains while you're at the gym. The setup cost is real. Learning to script, shoot, edit, and optimize takes time. But the compounding effect of a growing video library is one of the most powerful things on the internet. 5. Vending machines. Back to our earlier example because this one deserves its own moment. Vending machines are one of the most straightforward physical passive income businesses that exist. You buy a machine, you find a location, an office building, a gym, a laundromat, a car dealership. You negotiate to place your machine there, usually paying a small percentage of revenue to the location owner. You stock it with products, and then it sells for you around the clock without you being there. The restocking is maybe a few hours per week per machine, and the more machines you have, the more you can batch your routes efficiently. The beautiful thing about vending is that it's simple enough that your brain can understand every part of it. There's no algorithm, no platform policy that changes overnight. Someone wants a snack. Machine gives snack. You get paid. It's not glamorous. But unglamorous and consistent beats glamorous and unpredictable almost every time. 6. Self-storage units. You know what people are obsessed with? Their stuff. America has more self-storage units per capita than any other country on Earth. There's more self-storage square footage in the US than the total square footage of every Starbucks, McDonald's, and Subway location combined. Multiple times over. Self-storage is a business built on human psychology specifically, our inability to let go of things we're not using, and that makes it remarkably recession-resistant. When the economy is good, people buy stuff and need storage. When the economy is bad, people downsize their homes and need storage. It wins in both directions. The management overhead is low. Many modern storage facilities run almost entirely with software automatic billing, digital locks, online reservations. You hire one part-time manager, maybe. The land and units do the rest. This is higher barrier to entry than a digital product, obviously. But for the right investor, it produces income that is incredibly sticky and consistent. 7. Laundromats. Another unsexy, beautiful business. Here's what most people get wrong about laundromats. They think of them as low-end, old machines, sketchy locations. But the operators who actually understand this business see something different. They see a service with zero inventory, no returns, no customer accounts to manage, and nearly automatic transactions. Cash comes in. You pay for the lease, the utilities, and the maintenance. Whatever's left over is yours. The secret is in the equipment. Modern commercial washers and dryers are incredibly reliable with proper maintenance. And route-style management checking on your location a few times a week keeps things humming without demanding your full attention. And here's the compounding insight. Once you own one that's running smoothly, it's much easier to understand how to buy a second. The skills transfer, the income stacks. 8. Online courses and memberships. This last one might be the most psychologically interesting of all. When you buy something physical, the seller loses the thing they sold. When you sell knowledge, you still have it. You can sell it again. And again. To 1,000 people simultaneously, without any additional effort. An online course is you, once, teaching everything you know about a subject. Maybe it's personal finance for people in their 20s. Maybe it's how to negotiate a salary. Maybe it's beginner investing for women who were never taught this stuff growing up. You record it once, you put it on a platform, and students can enroll any day of the week, at any time, from anywhere in the world. Memberships take this even further. Instead of a one-time purchase, members pay monthly for ongoing access to content, community, or coaching. Done right, a membership business creates predictable recurring revenue, the kind of income that lets you plan your life, because you know what's coming in before the month even starts. The ongoing work is in marketing, community management, and periodically refreshing content. But the core product, your knowledge, your system, your perspective, keeps delivering value without you having to start from zero every day. So here's the deeper truth underneath all 8 of these. The common thread isn't automation, it's leverage. Leverage is the principle that some inputs produce disproportionately large outputs. A lever lets a small force move a heavy object. The right business model lets a small amount of effort generate a large and repeating amount of value. Most of us are taught to trade time for money. An hour of work earns an hour of pay. But that model has a ceiling. You only have 24 hours in a day. And even if you fill every single one with paid work, which would destroy you, you can never earn more than 24 hours worth. Leverage breaks that ceiling. When you build a system, a digital product, a physical machine, a content library, a course, you stop trading time for money and start trading ideas and effort for compounding returns. The work you do today keeps paying you next year. And here's the uncomfortable psychological insight that most people never sit with. The reason most people don't pursue this isn't that they can't. It's that the upfront phase feels exactly like a second job with no paycheck. The human brain is wired to seek immediate rewards. Delayed gratification is genuinely painful, not just inconvenient. Studies in behavioral economics show that we discount future rewards sharply, compared to present ones, a phenomenon called hyperbolic discounting. That's why most people don't build passive income streams, not lack of information, not lack of intelligence. The emotional discomfort of investing effort without immediate return is real, and most people give up before the system kicks in. The people who push through that phase, who treat the setup period as an investment rather than a punishment, are the ones who eventually open their phone on a Tuesday morning and see money that arrived while they slept. So what should you actually do with this? First, don't try to start all 8. Pick one, the one that fits your current resources, your skills, and your appetite for the type of work involved. If you love creating, start with a digital product or a course. If you prefer physical businesses you can understand with your hands, look at vending machines or laundromats. If you have patience and enjoy writing, a niche content website compounds beautifully over time. Second, audit your existing skills. You almost certainly know something that someone else would pay to skip learning the hard way. Your knowledge has value. The question isn't whether it does, it's whether you'll package it. Third, accept the setup phase as the price of entry. Every one of these businesses has a period where you're putting in more than you're getting out. That's not a bug. That's the investment. The people who treat that phase as confirmation that it doesn't work are the ones who quit right before the system would have started paying off. And fourth, start small. You don't need to quit your job or take out a loan. A digital product can be built on evenings and weekends. A vending machine can be purchased for a few $100s. A niche website costs less per month than a streaming subscription. The barrier to starting is lower than your brain is telling you it is. Here's the thought I want to leave you with. Every wealthy person you admire, genuinely wealthy, not just high income, has something working for them when they're not working. some system, some asset, some business that delivers value to people without requiring their presence every single moment. That's not a coincidence. It's not luck. It's a design choice. And the wild thing is that choice is available to almost anyone. It doesn't require a trust fund or a business degree or a groundbreaking idea. It requires understanding leverage, picking one vehicle, enduring the uncomfortable setup phase, and letting the system do what systems are built to do. The question isn't whether these businesses work. They work. They're working for thousands of people right now, while those people sleep, travel, spend time with their kids, and live their actual lives. The question is whether you're willing to do the upfront work that the person on the beach conveniently forgot to mention. Because the beach is real, so is the work that made it possible.